We should not discuss, negotiate with the poverty mentality as if we are begging. We cannot be a beggar in the international community when we have resources. We must have leverage and even bring them to the point they can beg us. It's possible, it depends how you are approaching it.
For the first time in history, the G20 Summit, one of the most powerful gatherings of world leaders, is being held on African soil. Set in Johannesburg, South Africa, this moment marks a bold statement. Africa is no longer just a guest at the table. We are setting the table. At the center of this historic moment stands Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, newly appointed President of the Republic of Namibia. Invited by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, she joins the summit as a special guest, a role that carries both symbolic and strategic significance. But behind the headlines lies a deeper story, one of vision, unity, tension, and the growing realization that Africa is stepping into a new era of leadership. The G20, which brings together the world's largest economies, has long been criticized for lacking meaningful representation from Africa. Despite the continent's vast population, natural resources, and growing influence, its voice has too often been sidelined in global economic discussions. Hosting the G20 Summit in Johannesburg changes that narrative. It's more than just logistics. It's a symbolic shift in power. Africa is not only participating, it is now hosting. That means shaping the agenda, influencing conversations, and showcasing what modern Africa truly looks like. The choice of South Africa as the host reflects the continent's growing diplomatic strength, and it's an opportunity to unite voices from across Africa to speak as one on the world stage. For a continent that has faced centuries of marginalization, this is a moment of reclamation and pride. It is also a bold reminder that Africa is central to the future of the global economy, from tech and energy to agriculture and innovation. President Nandi-Ndaitwah's presence at the G20 is significant on many levels. She is not only the first female president of Namibia, but also a seasoned diplomat and a longtime advocate for Pan-Africanism and gender equality. Her leadership reflects a broader change sweeping across the continent, one where visionary, competent, and inclusive leaders are stepping forward to represent African interests with confidence and clarity. As a special guest, her role may be ceremonial on paper, but in reality, her presence sends a message. Namibia is ready to lead, contribute, and collaborate globally. It also highlights Southern Africa's increasing diplomatic coordination, with Namibia and South Africa walking hand in hand on the global stage. In her decades of service, from foreign minister to vice president, President Nandi-Ndaitwah has built a reputation for quiet strength, strategic thinking, and deep commitment to African progress. The world may just be learning her name, but Africa has known her worth for a long time. While Africa rises, not everyone is applauding. In the lead-up to the summit, a diplomatic rift between the United States and South Africa made headlines. Despite President Ramaphosa's claims that talks with Washington were underway, the U.S. reportedly refused to rejoin full negotiations, choosing instead to attend only the ceremonial handover. The situation, while tense, highlights deeper issues in global diplomacy. Who holds power, who sets the rules, and how perceptions of leadership shift when traditional powers feel challenged. President Ramaphosa's firm stance, refusing to hand over the G20 chair to a junior U.S. official, was more than protocol. It was a declaration that African nations expect respect on equal footing, not symbolic gestures. In truth, the tension may fade, but the message is clear. Africa is no longer willing to play second fiddle in global affairs. This summit also marks a turning point in African diplomacy. Gone are the days when African nations approach global affairs individually and defensively. What we're seeing now is a continent acting collectively with purpose. From the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, to digital innovation hubs in Nairobi, Kigali, and Lagos, Africa is shaping its own path, economically, technologically, and politically. Leaders like Nandi-Ndaitwah and Ramaphosa understand that Africa's strength lies in unity and self-determination, not dependency. This summit allows African voices to push for debt reform, climate finance, investment in infrastructure, and fairer trade terms on our own terms. More importantly, it's a reminder to young Africans that we are the architects of our own destiny, and the world is beginning to realize it too. The 2025 G20 in Johannesburg is more than an event. It is a statement that Africa is no longer waiting for permission to lead. The presence of President Nandi-Ndaitwah symbolizes that African leadership is evolving, and that leadership includes women, youth, visionaries, and diplomats who carry the continent forward with intelligence and pride. As cameras flash and speeches are made, the true significance of this summit will echo far beyond the conference rooms. It will live in the minds of young Africans who watch and believe, that could be me one day. And perhaps that's the greatest gift of all. The inspiration to rise, not just as individuals or nations, but as a united, dignified, and unstoppable continent. Africa is no longer just rising, we are arriving. If you found this story inspiring, let your voice be heard. Drop a comment below. How do you feel about Africa hosting the G20? What does this moment mean for you? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Make Africa Great, your destination for powerful African stories that uplift, empower, and inform. Because the world needs to know, Africa is great, and we're just getting started.
Thank you, Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.